Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Us People podcast with Savia Rocks. she's laughing. So I promised you guys that I would bring another member of the team in. So when I was talking on my last trailer, I had said to you guys that I was going to bring Jessye in.
Hello.
Hey. How you doing, Jessye?
I'm doing just fine.
You sure?
Yeah, just fine.
She's been cracking up. On a serious note, I brought Jessye in because the last time we had a podcast, me and Jessye had a conversation about what's going on and the whole of the coronavirus. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true.
And how it's affected people that we know, especially people who are already have a certain type of illness. So if it's diabetes, or some people we know even have cancer, you would have to stay indoors. You're literally indoors and you have to stay there because there's no way that you can
Well, basically it's higher risk people.
Yeah.
So people with if they're asthmatic or they suffer low immune system and etc., they are higher risk of catching the coronavirus. But these days, you don't even have to have, you don't have to be a high risk now to catch it.
Mm-hmm.
So you could be, a healthy person without no problem and still catch it, unfortunately. So, yeah, but we just jumped straight into the conversation, didn't we?
It's fair enough. It's all right because...
what happened to the hello in the intro to the
Well, I did start it, but then, hey, we just got right into it, which is fine.
But yeah.
We all know we're on the Yes People podcast. We all know where we are.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you feel about the whole coronavirus and how has it infected you?
Well, as you know, I'm a germophobic. So in a sort of
really
way,
is.
I'm a germophobic. For me, it's really hard. Especially with when I'm asthmatic. I have a low immune system, so I catch anything quickly, whoever has it. So for me, I try to stay away, basically, from everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been at home, since my accident, as you know. And so I got used to being inside, cooked up, So all this to me is not really affecting me like other people are. You understand?
Yeah. That's true.
It's not affecting me in that sort of sense. I mean, I gotten used to keeping myself, entertained, busy, having things to do.
You always have something to do, to be quite honest.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you have a podcast. It's not just I'm gonna sit down and talk. You have to plan before you even have another episode. People think, yeah, I'm just gonna go on a mic and I'm just gonna start talking and it's just all gonna come out. No, it doesn't work like that.
Well, in this case today,
I think in some cases we become spontaneous on how but we do a lot of research on things before we actually go and do a podcast. Even before I interview a guest.
Yeah, and the individual.
Or the individual.
Yeah.
I would have all my questions scripted out.
Mm-hmm.
I would not send them. The whole point of this is I would not send the guest or the individual the questions because I want to hear their spontaneousness when they're answering the questions. To me, it doesn't make sense me sending you a bunch of questions and then you coming in and you're a robot. That's not what I want. That's not what we want on the Us People podcast. The whole point is that you're helping people and the answers are coming from your heart, not coming from a place where you've had time to look over them and just
practice
them like 15 times.
What am I going to answer this question again?
So today, well, the reason why I became like this is because, I want to know why you are the way you are and how you've become to be the person that you are. I know everybody works differently.
Yes, of course.
That's true. And
I mean, some people have to be organized and be prepared and be.
Some people have OCD.
And a certain yes, they do suffer from that. So they basically need to know ahead of time to be prepared how to answer and not feel uncomfortable, because there's some people that get
anxiety,
yeah, and they get panicked and they get, you know, they just get tongue-tied when it comes to, you know, being on the spot, asking a question there and there. You're just like, can you give me a second? But in this case, you cannot stay there. I'm
not going to deny it. A lot of the time where I've had people on the show and I've asked them a question, and I think even Jessye, when you were listening to a few of the podcasts, you've said to me, that person didn't know how to answer it.
Yeah. Sometimes you can see that they're nervous, and when the question just comes, they just don't know. They don't know how to answer as quick as possible. You get me? Because
my questions are not easy.
Yeah, that's true.
And the whole reason behind my questions not being easy is because I really want to know where your passion lies and how you actually got to where you are, and what real advice you could give to people to help them push themselves forward. I don't want to give you an easy question. So how did you get your name? Well, kind of an easy question, because it either came through creativity or someone's given it to you. You had an incident that impacted your life and this name came about. But 9 times out of 10, my questions are actually built around the individual. So it's me looking on the outside of an individual and then asking them the question of what I see of them. But sometimes people cannot see out the box of themselves.
Yes.
So I'm only asking.
But they find that difficult.
Exactly. No, that's true. No, you're absolutely right.
Because they rely on other people saying, well, this person is like this person is like that. But when it comes to talking about themselves, how they see themselves, they find it very hard. Oh, and by the way, guys, this is how we talk. We go from jumping from one conversation to another. So, this is going to be one of those talks that basically we'll be jumping from one conversation to another. Don't worry about it. Just continue on listening.
So we got from coronavirus.
Yeah, back to the top. Yeah.
Like, I also work, I don't mind saying this, I also work, apart from doing a podcast, I work in a corporate area, or company I should say, where we have, the building is huge, and I still have to go to work because I'm classed as an essential worker.
Yes.
I'm an essential worker, so key workers can come into work. Yeah. And the building is completely empty, no one's in there. But somebody has to be there. Yeah.
I mean, you have the random odd person
who comes in
that comes in to do a repair or something.
No, that's true. And it's an eye-opener because even driving to work is different because the roads are empty and you're driving and no one is there. Yeah. And I'm so used to, if this was a couple of months back and I was at work, for instance, I would be seeing hundreds of people on the main road scrambling and running around and barging you and always in a rush and the trains would be packed and so many things would be happening then. But now there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. I don't understand how they do some of the things they do. Like, one of the things is that they've slowed down the public transport in a way where they're only allowing a certain number of trains, which doesn't make sense to me because ideally you would leave the train system as it is because it would be less people going on a train.
Boarding the train.
But now they're cancelling trains and they're making a train come every 15 or 20 minutes, whereas a train was coming every 5 minutes, for instance.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
But now it's coming every 15 to 20 minutes sometimes. And people are getting crammed on the trains, but then you're saying no one is meant to be 2 meters or 6 feet from each other. It's not helping. No. There are things that are not helping, and I am seeing obviously different countries handle things in different ways. Where lockdown is lockdown,
Yes.
There are a few things we were watching, and lockdown means lockdown.
Yeah, basically not
and
be able to access basically anything. No transportation, no nothing.
Which is good in a way, and I think it's helped the country to get better and for the people to get better. It's sad to see how many deaths there are
it is pretty sad. I mean,
each country.
Again, people that are suffering from, panic attack or depression or
mental health, or
any sort of any problem. They will find this very, very hard at the moment.
Yeah.
Me myself, as you know, I suffer from depression, anxiety. Yeah. And I do stress myself out. Don't know why I do that, but I do that.
That's because you're highly organized.
That as well. But, I find a sort of way of dealing with those things. You understand? I need to keep proactive. If I don't have nothing to do, I need to find things to do. I cannot sit still, because you start just thinking. Your brain just starts running and running and running and running and thinking about the situation and how things is happening. Yes, it is a serious situation. What's going on? I mean, nobody expects to be going through this situation that we are going through now. Nobody, But for people that do suffer with depression and anxiety, and they're stuck at home, they're gonna find it a little bit more difficult.
I find it amazing because a lot of people, when we're at work or when I'm at work, say, "I wish I was at home," and they always say that.
Mm-hmm.
When they're at work and they're working an 8-hour shift.
But now that they're home, they're complaining to the fact that they are home. Which, hey ho. But, like I said, people that suffer with depression, like I said, myself, sometimes, I feel, I can't be bothered. I don't want to get up. I don't want to do nothing. And, you start thinking negativity things. You understand? And, what pulls, for people are different ways. For me, what pulls me off my bed and start, being proactive is I think about my loved ones. Yeah. My loved ones, they care for me. They love me. They want me to, do better, etc., etc. In a sort of way, for me, I don't want to let them down either. You get me?
Yeah.
So I push myself, and so, I'm being honest. It is difficult. It is very hard to push yourself to get up and start your day.
Yeah.
Okay. As I said earlier, I had an accident. Yeah. So I haven't been working. So because of that situation, I had to keep proactive. Okay. So I had to find things to do, around the house, Usually what I do, I'm building things. I'm doing DIY,
So if we jump onto it. So
yeah.
Jessye likes to build things. It doesn't matter what it is. And everything in our office has been built by us, basically, or by Jessye. Because we didn't want to go out and just buy what we see in a shop that somebody else has made when we know that we can make it ourselves.
Yeah.
We are creative people and we make things out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Being creative, and I'm sure anybody who's creative out there will understand this, that we can turn something from nothing into something beautiful.
Yes.
Because we see the beauty within the nothing. Wherever else, like someone may see a piece of wood and be like, "Oh, that's nothing. No, it can go in the trash," and we see that all the time. The other day, like we were walking down the road and we saw a desk, and this person threw out this desk, and we were like, "Hey." Yes. We can make something out of this, and the person obviously was like, "I'll take it if you want it," and then you can make a beautiful. You can sand it down, scrub
I mean,
it down,
not
break
everybody,
it down.
like I said, not everybody has that ability to get something and see, oh, shoot, I could build a chair. I could build a bench with that, or I could build, a frame with that, or make anything unique thing. Not everybody could do that. You understand? But they have to find what they're good at. And this is the perfect time.
It is the perfect time. I've heard so many people turn around and say, and I've seen so many posts and blogs and where people turn around and they're saying, at this moment in time, while you have the time to be at home, because some people are on the 80% work where you're meant to be, you get paid 80% of your wage, but you're not allowed to work. A lot of people I know are on that at the moment. And I would say to them, do what you love if you know what you love to do. It's utilize that time.
You need to utilize that time to...
Because believe me, I am.
I think we all are.
I'm not on the 80% thing.
But you still use your time
wisely.
Yeah, very wisely.
And I use a lot of my time where it would be busy at work. What I would do, I would driving. I've even made a few of the podcasts at work.
Yes.
Because I wanted to utilize my time knowing that no one would be there. So I would set myself up in there and say, I'll be calling Jessye from where I am and be like, Jessye.
Let's just say we're on the phone more than anything.
We're on FaceTime. I'm like, Jessye, I'm about to start this podcast and I'm about to do it here. So it'll be ready by Tuesday. It'll be ready way before Tuesday. So I just got to mix it down and master it and we're good to go. So she's like, yeah. But it's a way of utilizing.
Yes, you need to find, and this time, this moment, basically find what you love and what you like doing, and keep yourself busy. If it's yoga, if it's just repairing things or deciding to paint or whatever it is, you need to find.
Another thing I would say to everybody is try to meditate.
Meditation is important, yes.
There are a lot of apps, and this is something that me and Jessye were big on covering, is there are a lot of apps out there.
Yes, there
which
is.
Can help you. Some are free, yes. Some are free to download, but they're not free to have the content.
Yes.
Like the videos and advice. Some give you free advice and some give you free videos, but it's just finding the ones. Like, I have a few here, but I recommend you to go out and find out for yourself. Like, there's some called Headspace, and there's another called Calm. But most of these are for meditation and helping you remain calm when you feel like you're having anxiety. And there's
some that you could
timer.
Do breath exercise.
Yeah. What else is there that we found? There's Aura. But these are all things, like I said again, for you to... Yes.
I mean, you have to be very careful. You have to read the description.
Yeah.
And basically just see if you can't afford something like that, there are videos that you could watch on YouTube. There is yoga videos that you could see on YouTube. If you just want to start doing yoga just to relax and meditate. But it is very important, especially if you're suffering with depression, anxiety, or stress, to just do activities. As much as activity in your house as you just, if you need to, well, basically, yes, if you need to basically write a list, a do list of things you need to do a day, then just do that. That just basically get up. Or the day before, okay, tomorrow I'm going to be, I don't know, doing the backyard, if you have a backyard, doing some whatever it is that you need to do, just do it. That's what I advise. It's
You'd be
just,
surprised
you need
how
to
much
be active.
You'd be surprised how much stuff actually do need to get rid of in your house?
That's clean. Yeah, do some cleaning. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we basically hold that
They were like holders.
that you don't need. You start by doing that.
Go room by room. I know there are a lot of people going, I ain't got no stuff in my house. That I guarantee you'll find something.
Yeah,
I guarantee you might find something. I know that depending on who you are and what you have, we all have different amounts. Some have a lot, some have a lot less, but there is always something that you could find and say, I don't actually need this, I'm going to give it away to someone or sponsor someone, or you can give it away. You don't have to sell it, you can give it away to someone who might need it. And not everything in life is about money. It's about being able to help someone get to the next level of where they need to be.
Yes.
And I find that really important, because when you die, you don't take none of the stuff with you. If you do, then please tell me where you take it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, as well, you can have meetings online. There's a lot of meetings online that you could do.
Yeah.
As well, you could find them where you could talk with someone either by text or by FaceTime.
There's a lot of apps out there that are good for helping you. I was just looking at one. One is called Quit That, for anybody who has an addiction.
Oh yes,
which is
that's
really
another
good.
thing. That is another conversation. Yeah. So anybody that basically has started, their first week or a couple of days of being,
and
alcohol
it's
free, and you could find some NA or AA meetings online where you could speak to people. It's free. They will give you a list of times of meetings in different location. Well, this is all online. You don't even need to. Of course, we can't. You guys cannot meet each other, as you know, but you could do meetings online where you get a group. You could do it by just talking or face to face, or testing as well is available. You could find it. I mean, but again, they also have to keep proactive. They also have to keep their time busy. They need to keep motivated and doing things.
What things relax you? What things relax you? Easy now.
Well, relax me. As you know me, I'm not a very relaxed
individual.
Yeah. You see me always doing something. I need to be doing something all the time. Occasionally, if a TV show takes my interest, I will.
Jessye likes
focus.
Bollywood, guys. She really likes Bollywood. So if any of our listeners are, from that kind of background, please send her a link at Jessye at Savia.rocks or at uspeople@gmail.com because she loves.
Yes, I do. I have to admit, I do. I've always watched it every Sunday when I was a little kid in Channel 13 in the States.
I can't turn around and say anything myself because that is literally my heritage. So
yeah.
I am half Indian, so it's one of those things where it's good to know your culture, or where you come from, because people are like, no, you're not Indian. But I am actually half Indian, and people don't realize. And Jessye has a unique mix. I'm half black and half Indian, and Jessye is half Japanese. She doesn't want me to say it, but I'm going to say it. She's half Japanese and half Puerto Rican, but she just doesn't want me to say it. Well, I've said it now. So it's a nice mix. What's the problem? People be like, when I tell people that, people are like, what? That's rare. Where did they find each other?
But like I said, to relax, I usually watch a TV show or something. If it does take my attention, then I'm like focused into the TV show, and that's where my mind. But sometimes I can't watch certain TV show because some TV show just gets me upset and pisses me off, and I'm like that, even though it's a TV show, but you get into it. You get me?
I was watching the house one. Remember the house one we were watching, and Jessye fell asleep. Well, I love design, and I love how I know that when we build a house, it's gonna be amazing because we're gonna have to build it. Yeah, we're gonna have to build a house. No, what? I'm gonna have to build my house. So because of the way my mind is,
yeah,
I don't know what Jessie's house is. She's gonna build. Might be from wood, but
hey, that's how it all started. Yeah.
That's true. That is true. It was cold down. Yeah, but I love the whole design of houses, how they start off, how long it takes, the emotions behind the house. Because if you're building your house from scratch yourself, I feel like there's a lot more emotion and you have a lot more attachment to that house, knowing that you're going to live in that house probably for the rest of your life.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess you will have to design it the way that you will want it to be. That makes you happy.
True.
In a way.
So,
but things, back to the...
We told you we're going to jump.
Back to the subject. Movies. I listen to music, so I do listen to a lot of music. At the moment, I used to play a lot of instruments.
She still does. She's being modest.
Well, not as much. I think in that area, I still haven't found the motivation to do it again.
I think you will.
I think eventually I will find the motivation to pick up my guitar or pick up the bass or play the piano without any problem. But at the moment, I haven't been in that mood focus.
We have a lot of instruments here at the Yes People podcast. We really do. What do we have? We have... What's that called up there? Jess?
Guido.
See? We have one of them. And we have like 7 guitars in here. Yeah. And we have
7 guitars, yeah.
We have 2 massive keyboards, which is really cool. But we keep ourselves motivated. If we're not doing the podcast and we have time to spare, we will jump on them, but we don't do it as much as we should.
Yeah, but me, it's more motivation. It's like when you lose your how you say, your oomph.
It's not your mojo. I tell you, it's not your mojo.
But you know what I'm saying. It's just your motivation. And I haven't picked up the guitar or for a long time now. Any instrument for a while now.
No, that's true.
But it's just trying to fight through that depression and anxiety and all that stuff. So it's just motivating yourself to try to go back to it. But at this moment in time, I haven't been able to get to that point to motivate myself to pick it up.
I think it will come to you when
I've
you
done
least
everything. I
expect
do everything else. I mean, I motivate myself to basically I find ways to have tasks to do all the time. You understand? So I make sure, like, that's why I say to everybody, write a list of things the day before, what you want to do on the day, keep your day busy. And continue to the next day to do the next day and on and on and on.
What advice would you give to somebody who's really unorganized, right?
Oh boy.
What advice would you give to someone who's really unorganized, finds it hard to pick up a pen and a piece of paper? How would you, because their mind span is somewhat of always like it jumps from one to the other to the other to the other thing. What advice would you give to them to say, calm yourself down and do this way?
That's a very hard one because, as you know, me. I have to have a
Everything in
routine.
structure.
Yeah, a routine. I mean, they could do their best. I mean, try to do your best, and they really have to find their routine of things.
What works best for them?
That works best for them, because we can't really... A person that's unorganized, they work differently, but they do get things done, but not in the time schedule that somebody that will write it down in the way that they want to do it, gets it done. But they do find a way of getting it done. I mean, they might call it the to-do list kind of arrangement, where they have it numbered 1 to 10, and they might start with 10 and then jump to 6, whatever they find easier to do first. Sometimes they people just go and do the easy things first, then going through a list straight down through.
Yeah.
And then just go, okay, let me do number 4, clear out the trash from, etc., etc. But, it depends. It really depends on them, how they want to organize. Because even though they're not organized, they have their way of getting things done.
True.
They do.
No, I can't deny that. I think we all do. Like, I work to a different structure.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're like, Savia! I was like, is it ready? and I'm like, yeah, I'm coming, kind of thing. And I'm pretty chilled. I'm pretty chilled out.
Yeah, Savia's very chilled out, where I'm like, come on, let's go, let's get this done, So if it's 1 and I want to be done by 1:40, it has to be done already in between that time. Where Savia will drag it a little longer, and it will last maybe 3 hours from the 40 minutes that I wanted it to last.
It's not that
But
bad.
yeah.
I'm not that bad. I am not that bad. She's making me sound like I am that bad. I am not that bad. I am relaxed, but I am very organized.
Yeah, she is organized.
I don't
and I
like
think
mess.
anybody, she doesn't like mess. That is true. She doesn't like mess. I have to give her that. Yeah, she's very organized, but she's more peace and prosperity.
I am. I'm peace and love. I'm like a hippie. I'm literally a hippie.
Yeah.
I wear dungarees most of the time. I wear sparkly Dr. Martens. I am part of the hippie parade. I am.
Well,
I just don't get high. That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't smoke. I don't drink. I just don't get high. I just don't feel like I need to, because my energy is already up there. So I just don't need it.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Just People podcast.
Okay.
So, Jessye, how did we come up with the name Us People podcast? Because I remember how we came up with the name, but I want to see if you remember how we came up with the name.
Oh, jeez. Well, what was the first name first? Let's start with the name that you wanted to go.
It was long.
Yeah.
It was, I think, Creative Cast, but that put...
No, it was longer than that. Trust me, it was longer than that.
I don't have the paper in front of me to turn around and be like, "Hey guys, it was called this."
But anyway, the name was so long that every time she tried to say the name, yeah, and I was like, no, we can't do this, And I was like, but what's the podcast gonna be about?
Every time I would try to say it, Jessye would crack up.
Crack up! I'm dying. I'm rolling because you couldn't say it.
It was enormously. It had something to do with creativity, though.
It is creativity, but
motivation and creativity podcast. That's what it was called.
Okay, I think it's a bit longer than that.
No, it was that. It was motivation and creativity podcast. But every time
you said it, you were like tongue tied.
I slipped
and
up.
I was like, no, this can't happen. No, you can't say that like that every time you. No.
Then Jessye went, "What's the podcast about?" Which she just said. She said, "What's the podcast about?" And I'm like, "People."
So I basically then said, "Why don't you just call it Us People podcast?"
And then I stopped, and I went,
Yeah, she kind of spaced out on the end and go like,
Because I like to space out.
yeah, that sounds good.
I'm such a hippie.
I'm like, well, yeah, because it's about people, right? You want to help people. So let's call it Us People, because it's about us and what we do in life.
So then we had to get down to the structure of, now we know what the podcast is called. And when we first started, we didn't have much equipment. We still don't have much equipment. So
But you don't need much equipment to have your own
Roadcaster,
podcast.
if you wanna sponsor us, we'd be happy for you to sponsor us. Road, if you wanna sponsor us, we'd be well happy. Just putting it out there. We help people. So but when we first realized that it was about people, so we had that down. And then we also had what was it going to be, just creative people, or was it going to be just individuals who are passionate about
and
what
that's
they
where
do?
I said no, it shouldn't just be about certain type of people. It should be all people, because all individual have their own
to say
unique creativity. So that's where we decided then
I think people, when they hear the word creativity, they instantly think music or arts, or
yes,
a lawyer could be creative.
Yeah.
Somebody who is a bus driver can be creative. It's just how they drive is just creative. Or
they can make
matter.
It's not just only that. They can make that person's day, by just something that they say to a customer.
Yeah.
They can make their day. They're like, oh, wow, oh, thanks, whatever it is.
But I'm not going to deny it. When I'm working, I stick out like a sore thumb. When I'm at work in a corporate building, I stick out like a sore thumb. I'm not like your typical, I have big, massive hair, and I'm the girl that, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the positive. Welcome to the positive building. And when someone comes into that building, they're not leaving the same way they came in.
No, they don't.
And for me, that means a lot to me, because you never know when someone comes through that door. You never know what's going on in their life. And the whole point of me greeting them is for me to turn around and say, hey, how are you? But mean it.
Yeah. But as well, in the end of the day, the podcast is basically to help people to achieve what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is by information that they might say how different individual do things and how they did it. Because, a singer could say one thing in one way and another singer could say they did it another way.
But then there's so many singers,
there's so many singers, there's so many producers, there's so many, lawyers, architects, etc., etc. You understand? But they could help young people, if that's the field that they want to go in life, of how they proceed to go through that life. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't mean you need to go through the same person, how they got from A to B.
You just need to find your way.
You just have to find your way. But at least you have information in hand of, oh, I heard this and this, Let me,
merge them together and make my own.
Yeah, or research. Research, which I do a lot of research find information. But, it's all about that. It's about helping the youth and helping adult, because it's not only youth. There's some adult that feel lost, that they haven't been able to accomplish where they want to be yet. You understand? In life. But that doesn't mean that they should give up. Just find out why. What is it that, is going on?
I've learned that I'm not afraid to say this either. I had a down day, and I was talking to Jessye, and I said, that's it, I want to give up. And Jesse's like, you really want to give up on everything? And then I was like, yeah. And she's like, but if you give up on the Us People podcast or give up on everything, you're giving up on your whole team.
Yeah.
And then I realized she's right.
Mhm.
I need to take a step back and just refresh my memory, and just, it's okay. I need to refresh my memory and take a step back. But what I'm saying, the reason why I'm saying this is because it doesn't matter if you have a podcast, if you have a business, if you are a millionaire, if you are a trillionaire, it doesn't matter. You are going to have
Down
good days and bad days. And sometimes you may feel like the bad is taking over the good. But if you
that's
have
not the case.
But if you have a good team behind you,
Right.
or even good people behind you who push you and say get back up. A
Mhm.
bad friend is a friend that turns around and said, yeah, I think you should give up, because it's not working. If you've come across one of those people ever in your life, yeah, kick them to the side. Tell them you're kicking them, then kick them, and then just move them across. No, don't kick them.
Yeah, no.
Just simply say to them, no. Because a real friend would never ever make you give up on something that you love doing, if you're doing it for a good purpose and it's something that you genuinely love doing.
In the end of the day, you need to know your surrounding, the people that are around you.
Some people
Do
find it
they
hard.
want? Some people find it hard. Do you want people around you that are always, saying negative things to you? And not really helping you in a way, mentally, supporting you mentally. Because in my life, I had a lot of people around me like that. And I came to a conclusion that, okay, I cannot have those type of people around me. I'm struggling already. And then you have somebody making you feel worse.
I had a conversation with someone the other day, and I said to them, out of respect, you will tell them that you're cutting them off.
Mm-hmm.
But I do that, and I'm not talking to you no more.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually have said it, I'm not talking to you anymore. And I have cut people off.
Mm-hmm.
And I've given them the reason why. And the reason why I've done that is out of respect for myself and out of respect for them. So they don't need to call me anymore or keep in contact with me anymore, because they've been negative towards me in a way that I feel is not nice. And I don't believe about not being nice to people. The whole purpose, I found my purpose. My purpose is to help people.
Yes.
Yeah. And when you find your purpose, and one of the things are to help people, you don't want people putting you down for things that are unnecessary. But most of the time when people are saying something to you that is negative, that's really what they mean about themselves.
They feel about themselves.
That's the reflection that they see of themselves, but they'll rather portray it onto you to put you down, and then they suck your energy and walk off with it. No. If you ever feel like that, and if someone is treating you that way, they most probably one of those. Apparently they call it vampires.
Who knows what they call it, but in the end of the day, you don't want that type of energy around you. You want, yes, they could be having bad days, fair enough, but if the person is always putting you down or making you feel like you're not worthy, you're not good enough, then you really, 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 and I mean this with all my heart, you really have to look at your surrounding and who you have around you. You can't have that around you. And again, if you are a person that suffer with mental illness,
do you think that some people are scared of letting people go because they feel like they're going to be by themselves? But
yes, that is that is one of the main problems why people stay with people or friends or relationship, because they don't feel that they will find somebody that will love them, care for them, or or a friend that actually is a genuine friend.
Yeah.
So they will stick around and stay around and have those people around them because they don't feel that they could do better.
I always say to people,
but that's not the case.
But I always say to people, there are millions of people in this world, billions of people in this world, and how are you so sure that your best friend might be in another country right now, but you're holding on to the old one because you don't want to let that one go, but then you have another one somewhere else who would be 10 times better towards you, but you're just afraid of letting that one go because you don't want to be by yourself. But sometimes being by yourself is the best healer. And we've all had a situation where we've had to be by ourselves, and it can be really good in healing terms. It lets you know who you are. Some people don't like being by themselves. I've got friends who don't like being by themselves because they feel that that's when they're going to start to think about reality. And so they will go out and do things and stuff like that. But I like being in my own car. Like one of the guys at work, he said to me, he came over and said, "Don't you get bored?" I'm sorry, where did that come from? Oh, hey, dude. No, I don't get bored. I don't really get bored. I don't know what that is.
You keep busy. You keep yourself.
It's not even just that. It's because you are happy in yourself.
Yes, that is true. You're happy with yourself.
When you are happy,
I'm happy
yourself,
staying by myself.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem.
I can leave Jessye by herself for ages.
I could be by myself for a long, long time without any problem.
Yeah.
No problem whatsoever.
But there have been times where I leave you by yourself in the office, and then you're just organizing the podcast and who's next, who's coming in, what time they're coming in, and so on and so forth, and you're doing that, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna leave her because she's in her own space.
Yeah, I get in my own bubble. I basically block everything around me, and go in my own bubble, and then ignore the people that do try to irritate me. I do. Basically, just shut them down, or I just close the door.
No, you give them the look. I can't. And no
I
one's
give
gonna see.
Well, the death look,
No,
but you know.
I haven't had the death look yet, but yet. I say yet.
But yeah, no,
I don't think I will.
You know what I said.
Yeah.
But
let's talk. So we spoke about how we got the name for the Us People podcast.
Yeah, and then we just
jumped
about
over
random things. Yeah,
and then we jumped over to other randomness, like being in your own space and people and
what it was about.
And we spoke about mental health, and we spoke about healing and stuff. Let's talk about how.
Which I hope they all understand this. I know that we're jumping from one conversation from another,
because
but this is how we are, and we are basically want to show you how we are for real, and we're not following no structure today. We just wanted to be ourselves and how we are, because this is reality. We jump from one conversation. We're talking about one issue.
We do.
And we jump from another issue, and then we go like,
we do.
Shoot, did we finish the first issue?
If we have 15 people to interview, we'll jump in from one to the other, 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 and then go back to, we'll go from number 2 to number 7 to number 9 to number 11.
But this is how we are, and we didn't want to follow a structure today.
No.
We wanted to be just...
I don't have a paper in my hand, if you notice.
Yeah, you're not reading. You don't sound like a robot today.
No, I don't sound like a robot.
But like you were saying, sorry for interrupting.
No, it's okay. I don't sound like a robot today. I actually don't sound. I sound like my true self, which is nice. I noticed that in the past couple of podcasts that I've done, I've found who I want to be on the podcast.
Yes.
And I think that's really important. When you do your first couple of podcasts, you will feel nervous.
Yes, or it's just that. It's that panic, like how you're gonna sound, are people gonna watch?
No, I don't mind. I don't mind how I sound.
Yeah, but I'm saying that I think in part of it, you say you don't mind, but that is in your subconscious. You're thinking about those things.
No, shall I tell you what was in my subconscious?
What was it?
It's how I'm gonna mess up.
Okay.
It wasn't how I sounded. Okay. It was how I'm gonna mess up. Like if I'm reading something, and I'm reading it, and I'm not reading it,
and you tongue tie or something.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Or if I can't say a person's name because their second name's got like 15 letters in it, and I can't say it.
Yes.
Because I have dyslexia, and
that's true.
There you go. So for me, when I'm reading something, I'm reading over and over and over again, and that's another thing to talk about. Actually, is dyslexia. Dyslexia is not a bad thing. It's actually quite. It's not a bad thing at all when you have dyslexia. It's just that we pay more attention to detail than an average person would, and I read my emails like 5-6 times before I click send. Yeah, and and I check the spelling, I check the grammar, I check literally everything I can check.
Which is a normal thing that you
and
know
it could only
you
be
would
a
do.
paragraph. It could literally only be a paragraph, but I am checking it constantly.
I do the same.
I can't help it. So anyway, as we spoke about that, let's go on how we got onto the Us People podcast logo.
Hey, okay.
I remember
with the logo, I was basically saying, no, I just don't want writing. I want an image.
Yes, you did.
I want a picture. I want something unique. You know, it's about people. Let's put people. You know, and then you came out and said,
I like silhouettes. I love silhouettes. Like I do. Most of it you won't see it, but a lot of my pictures have a really like a dark shade over people's faces, or I like shadows, and I like shadows to me tell a story, and when I do that, she's gonna kill me for saying this, but I sent it to Philippa. She's lovely.
Oh, she's wonderful.
She's absolutely lovely. Philippa, who done our Us People podcast logo, she also done the Savia Rocks logo as well.
Yes.
So when she done the logo for me for Savia Rocks, I was like, I'm not going to anybody else apart from Philippa. That's it. And that's a good thing. When you are good at what you do, people will come back to you. And I found that in photography, I found that in podcasting, I found that in anything that I've ever done creatively, songwriting.
She basically listens to you. Listens,
so,
and
she
knows what the customer wants, and
she likes when you send her a long email. I feel sorry for her. I feel so sorry for her. I send her most of the longest emails that she was ever received.
She does write emails, let me tell you.
And when I sent her an email, I sent her the email and pictures, so I combined everything together. In paragraphs, I wrote what we wanted. So I said to her, okay, I like this silhouette and I like this silhouette, but I also like this silhouette. I want you to combine all three silhouettes and do something with it that represents a man and a woman. I didn't care what nationality they were. It had nothing to do with that, because Us People is about people. I don't care if you're black, white, green, purple.
Yellow.
It didn't matter to me. It was just about
Orange.
us people. And I just said to her specifically, the main part of it was, even in the long email, is that I like silhouettes and I wanted it to be a man and a woman. I said to her, you could man and a woman and a woman, or a man and a man. But she came back.
Yes, she came back
with a man and a woman. And when I opened, I was in the car. Remember, we were in the car and we were driving somewhere, and we were taking the equipment home, I think.
Yes, we were. Yeah.
And I said, okay.
We were actually coming from doing the interview with
Entity.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then I saw the because we like to do everything ahead of time, so we're always ahead of time.
Yeah.
So that's why we always did art. Even before the podcast came out and we knew we were going to do the podcast, we knew that, and we done interviews before.
Yeah.
So we could always be ahead of schedule. And anyone who's doing a podcast, I would always recommend doing your interviews way ahead of time, in case anything ever happens, like a pandemic, because you'll always have your interviews ready
you also have other ways to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But you'll always be ahead of time. And I had to say it like that. It's just my personality.
Yes, I know. Dramatic.
I know.
Dramatic scene.
Dramatic hippie. And so we was on our way home anyways, and I said, email came through, and it was from Philippa, and it said, here is your draft logo.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was nervous. I'm so nervous when I open up things, because I never know what it's going to be like. But I've always been happy with our work, so I don't know what I was getting nervous over. And I opened it and boop, and then I like, oh! And Jessye's like, what are you screaming about? I said, look at this! And I'm thinking the flow back and forth. She's like, show me it then. So I showed it to her, and I was like, I love it. I said, I love it. Yeah, I didn't even care if Jessye didn't like it. But obviously, Jessye had to like it before.
No, I loved it instantly.
But she did love it instantly. And
I loved it instantly. I'm like, she always gets it right.
Right. Yeah, she does.
Always, there's no doubt. She knows, and she takes her time. Let me tell you, she takes her time to listen to you,
Yeah.
to read what you write,
Yeah.
to find, you know, and to create something what we wanted.
Yeah.
You understand? And I love that. I love that's the way she is. And that's the way she, you know, works and takes her time. And, you know, we never rush her. We go, yeah, take your time. Don't worry. We like, take your time. Take your time. You know, but she's wonderful. She is wonderful. A unique person.
So we wanna thank Philippa. She likes everything that we do, and she's been so kind. Every podcast she's on, like she clicks like, or every message on Instagram she clicks like.
She will be on soon.
Yes,
she will be on soon
in her own time.
In her own time.
In her own time.
You know, when she's available. But hopefully we'll have her on, and you will get to hear her and you know a bit more, you know, about her.
So that's definitely something. So that's how we came up with the Us People logo, which is a nice way for you guys to, if anybody's making a logo and they need their information, I'll gladly pass it on.
Yes.
Yeah, because she is that good. I think that, is there anything else we want to cover today? Because we've spoken about so much today. But we did promise you that we would speak about a lot of different things about the Ask People podcast.
I mean, we basically, and I warned you from the beginning that we're going to be jumping from one conversation to another. So, you know, it is, again, that's the way we are. We're not really.
How do you feel we're doing so far with the Ask People podcast?
I feel we're doing great. I mean, we get a lot of people from outside the UK that listens to it.
That's true.
You know, which is fantastic. Japan, we get people from Japan, we get people from the States, we get people from South America.
Yeah.
You know, so
Indonesia. I was quite surprised.
Yeah, so I'm very happy at the moment. I'm very happy how things are going. You know, and you know how people. I just want to get people's feedback a bit more. They do hit like, which is wonderful. But you know, anything else, I'll be happy to.
Jessye, you can take criticism well.
Mm.
You have your moment when you go and then you calm down, and she goes like, oh, okay, so maybe we can change this.
Mm-hmm.
And with me, I'm like, okay. And then that's it. And then that's it. And then I go and I brainstorm.
Yeah.
And then I will show you what I think could be done better or worse. Someone banging.
Hey, someone is banging.
Someone is banging. And it doesn't matter where you are. You can have your own office. There'll be someone next door who'll still be banging.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But more or less, yeah, my advice to anybody is just to have a structure of what you want to do and how you want to do it, and then find your calm, basically. And on that note,
yeah, as well, I want to make sure that everybody, you guys could reach us at any time by email, by phone, by text, and any sort. If you need somebody to talk to, we're available. I'm available. Hey, I'm here. I'm home.
Just remember she said that, yeah.
I'm available. I don't mind, you know, texting, having chats with people. I mean, again, I'm not a medical doctor or anything, but I'm a good listener. And
she
that's
is,
one thing I can say. I'm a good listener. And
I'm just a good talker.
Yeah. I'm a good listener. And, you know, if you want to reach out and speak to us, you can find our details.
No, I do like talking if it's going to motivate you. I like pulling the goodness out of someone.
Yeah. I mean, but in times like this, like the situation that things are, people are at home and they don't know what to do and etc. You know, I don't mind. You know, I could even set up a group chat, you know, with people. If that's what they feel.
I think we should set up a Zoom where we just randomly speak to people to help them.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, yeah, I don't mind doing that. But, you know, we could start first with, you know.
Oh, that's the thing.
WhatsApp. If everybody has WhatsApp, it's free all around the world. So, you know, as long as you have internet, you're okay. You're good to go. So you could reach, you know, all of us. I'll make sure I'll put it in our Instagram, the number. I'm not sure if I did, but I'll make sure that I put it in our Instagram. I know that in Facebook we have, our landline.
Yeah.
Work landline. And
I've
also
I've updated everything on there.
yeah,
so
and also, we have, the cell phone, which you guys call mobile. Mobile number here. So you can reach us at any time, and we're open for discussion, and to give support as much as we can.
Yeah. Most definitely.
But I do want to tell you guys there is support out there, professional support, which you could get online for free.
And if you need help finding it, we'll be happy to help you try and find it.
Yeah, if you need us to, I'm going to be putting up some link of different places. There are certain places that are, basically worldwide, basically links that they're giving meetings, for narcotics and alcoholic and, for different situation, different addictions. And I mean, every single addiction that you could think of, it is available. And the support in any form, in any way, by text, by FaceTime, or by phone call. And it's free. And you can have group meetings or individual meetings. I will put some of the links that I have found, on the description. But if you do need more description than that, then just basically email us. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, anywhere you like. You can find us.
That leads me to the last part of this podcast, which I always say, which is, guys, subscribe, because we are absolutely everywhere.
Yes,
at the
we're
moment.
absolutely
and we're
everywhere.
finding, it's funny because we're finding new platforms all the time, which we will be going on.
Sorry if you hear the cat meowing in the background, but
Yeah, we do have a cat. Yeah. He's like, I want to come in. I want to be on the podcast. Which is fine.
But yes, we are in every single platform that you can think of. The
Please
only one that we
subscribe.
are not on
SoundCloud.
will be SoundCloud or Pandora, which is in the States.
Yeah.
But any other platform that you are accessible in the state, we are on. We're on, and we do find different platform every time, and I'm always on it. So I'm always on it and making sure that we're on there.
So guys, please subscribe to iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Spotify. How can I forget that?
Yeah.
Where else?
I will make a list. of all
Jessye
the
will make a
platform
list, so
and put it down for
subscribe
you guys.
To us, and as always, stay happy, stay positive, and continue to be kind to one another.